this time on megashippers.
1, 2, 3.
In Denmark, loading 2,400 tons of wind turbine sections hangs in the balance and risks capsizing the ship.
Now, when you're transporting kind of this cargo, you must always be one step ahead.
In Spain, Ignacio Marinetto's plans to deliver 3 cutting-edge trains that will revolutionize rail freight across the whole of Europe may stall before they can even get off the ground.
The weight of the locomotives is 123 tons and the crane capacity is 104 tons.
And in Montrose, Scotland, crane driver Angus White races the fading daylight to load 3,000 bales of compacted rubbish so it can be shipped off to Sweden and turned into renewable energy.
It's a bit of a race against the clock when it should have been a bit easier, but well, it's just shipping, as they say, isn't it?
Around the world,
We are going in. Let's go.
there's a hidden army of workers
Things can go wrong really, really fast.
who, in the face of danger and turbulent times, work in all weathers, day and night, to deliver no matter what.
Stop!
Step into the $6 trillion world of heavy logistics. Meet the people for who no load is too heavy,
Anything up in the air, it wants to come down.
no item too big,
It's a case of demolition, destruction, and make it happen.
and no route too difficult.
The more that I get off, the less stress that I have.
An industry dedicated to one common goal:
Keep it going, mate, keep it coming.
keeping the planet moving by land, air, and sea. Meet the megashippers. Aalborg in Denmark. The country's 4th largest city, built on the shores of the Lim Fjord. In the 19th century, Aalborg's harbour helped turn it into an industrial powerhouse. The main import and export industry today is renewable energy. Today, 6 critical wind turbine sections, called TPs or transition pieces, will be heading out of the docks. Klaus Munk is the man in charge.
This is for the Borsele offshore wind farm located off the Dors coast.
Launched in January 2020, Borsele Wind Farm will cost billions of euros once completed in 2023. Initially powering 1 million homes, the hope is to expand to as many as 5 million in the future. That's 63% of households in Holland. For its construction, the transition pieces will be shipped 1,000 kilometers to Rotterdam, then taken out to sea and mounted onto their foundations.
A transition piece is the connection between the monopile, which is located on the seabed, and the wind turbine.
The 26-meter-high TPs are made on site at the Bladt Industries turbine-making factory.
We start off with heavy steel plates, which are then rolled into what we call cans. Each individual can weighing up to about 55 tons, the equivalent of more or less 10 elephants. Then we take each individual can, we weld them together. In this project, there's 7 cans in the completed TP. Then we connect flanges, platforms, etc. It goes for coating, where the surface is painted. And then finally we do the final outfitting and what we call the upending, where it's finally mounted here at the quayside.
The 400-ton TPs are transported to the quayside by self-propelled modular transporters ready to be upended. These are just 6 of the 2,000 TPs that will be completed by the end of this year.
You move the transition piece from the horizontal position to the vertical position. That is what we call upending, because we take the foundation and we upend it.
But upending these colossal towers is a delicate operation.
We have the crane in the right position, it's connected to the TP, and as soon as everything is checked and okay, we'll start to go up on the hook, and then the crane will slowly crawl forward and then bring the TP in a vertical position.
The transition pieces are shipped vertically because that's the way they need to be installed, and also because there are some sensitive equipment inside which cannot handle the upending offshore. Therefore, we do the upending onshore and then install the sensitive equipment. It's 26 meters high and has a diameter around 6 meters. The foundation is yellow because it increases the visibility offshore.
To carry the 6 TPs destined for Rotterdam, one of the biggest heavy lift vessels in the world has been called in for the job. The Svenja, built in 2010, boasts 2 high-performance onboard cranes with a previously unheard-of lifting capacity of 2,000 tons and an outreach of up to 38 meters. Project manager Frank Escher is the man responsible for overseeing the lift.
That's our TP lifting tool, so the lifting tool which has been designed to lift the transition pieces, and that's what will carry the full load of 400 tons.
Once attached to the onboard crane's hook, the special lifting tool, designed purely for this huge and outsized load, is raised out of the hold to the very top of the first TP.
1, 2, 3.
It has been connected, double-checked, the safety pins are all in, and the crane is now on its way to the first transition piece. On the most forward TP, you can see the guys already waiting for the lifting tool.
26 meters up, having climbed 85 steps to the very top of the TP, it's the job of the 2-man team to attach the lifting tool.
Maintain height again.
The vice-like grip of clamps on either side grip the inner and outer edges of the top rim of the TP.
Good.
Once connected to the outer rim of the TP, it will finally be time to raise the first 400 tons off the ground. Aberdeen, northeast Scotland. A port city that since the discovery of oil in the North Sea has been known as the offshore oil capital of Europe. Today its 230,000 inhabitants produce fuel of a different kind, out of their rubbish. Manager of the Suez recycling plant is Colin Forshaw.
So working with waste is as exciting as it sounds sometimes because it can be smelly, it can be dirty, you can get covered in dust. On the other hand, no 2 days are the same.
Colin oversees the processing of 400,000 tons of residual waste every year. It can't be recycled, but once processed, it can be turned into fuel, and the Swedish can't get enough of it. The first step before exporting it is breaking it down.
So the shredder which we use, it's a twin shaft shredder, and it's been designed to effectively rip material apart. And the reason for that is because you can see from the material behind me, we've got things like mattresses in there, we've got some dense plastics, we can see bits of steel, we can even get bits of concrete and paving slabs. We don't want them in there, but that shredder can process that material. And instead of jamming and getting stuck, it'll crack it, smash it and rip it through. Then we've got the large section, which is the baler. This is a big machine. This machine's got 100 tons of pressure, and it's designed to squeeze and compress the bales down to a uniform size, because we want to make sure that those bales are good for storage. Not just storage, but also handling and moving across Europe. The final thing is a cross wrap, where we wrap all the material together, just to make it easier to transport and store these until the boat comes in.
The waste is driven 80 kilometers to Montrose port, then shipped to Sweden, where a revolutionary power station burns it to create heat and electricity. With a combustion capacity of 750,000 tons a year, the plant heats the equivalent of around 100,000 homes. 3,000 tons of waste, enough to power 400 homes, is due to be shipped out of Montrose tomorrow.
You there, Barry? Just come behind you.
But Colin is 26 tons short.
We need to get the bales into an Arctic truck so we can get them down to Montrose to the port. Hopefully this time of day we should have a truck not too far away so we can get them loaded and get 26 tons out of the site. John, if you can send that truck through, that'll be great. Thank you. The bales vary in size. Normally they're about 1.3 tons, so we aim to get 26 tons payload, but but that does mean you're between 18 to 21 bales at a time, depending on the size of the bales and the weight of the bales.
The first truck to arrive for today's delivery is driven by Stuart Duckart.
Aye, how we doing?
Hi, mate.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. We've got 300 bales on the floor to get shifted.
Perfect.
Yeah, happy to get going?
Yep,
perfect. I'll go and have a chat with Barry, then we'll get you sorted.
Thank you.
Before Colin can load, Stuart needs to remove the all-weather cover so the bales can be stacked from the side.
A wee bit hard the way the wind blowing against it. Oh, come on. A bit windy. Getting there.
I'm standing here with my arms crossed watching Stuart do all the hard work, but I don't like to touch his truck in case I damage it.
With the lorry finally prepped,
Are you set?
Yep.
Barry Lowe can start loading bales up to 1.7 metres long in his Heister forklift with a maximum operating weight of 3.5 tonnes.
Hey Barry, right, we're good to go, mate. Let's get it loaded, let's get it shifted. Good man, thank you. So when we're stacking the bales, what we're looking is to try and stop friction on the two bales working together. So you notice at the top level there, when Barry moves into position, he needs to give himself a good bit of clearance, a couple of inches, just to position the bale and then gently lower it. What we're not trying to do is drag it and push it into position. If you get too much friction on the bales and they rub them together when they're loading, what happens is we kind of rip the film. Now if we rip the film around the bale, that's no good to us. Basically we need to go and reprocess some material and put it back through the machine to get it rewrapped. That costs us time, that costs us money.
30 minutes later, Barry's worked his magic and the bales are fully loaded, rip-free. All Colin needs to do is check the weight is safe for the journey.
The calculator comes out. So we're using the Canon AS120 calculator, cutting edge technology. We're just going to weight this end side. Bang on weight on this one, looking at that. The final tally is 13,634, so that's 13,634 kilograms, plus the weight on the other side puts us right bang on 27 tons, which is a good payload. So, happy days.
Now the fun part.
Perfect, right, you're good to go.
Good to go, thank you.
Stuart's ready to set off. But if Colin's got his maths wrong, the load could exceed the truck's maximum load capacity of 27 tonnes, in which case he'll be back to unload some of the bales.
The truck weighed in empty on his way in. He's going to weigh out full now, and then we compare the difference. That tells us a payload. So yes, I got the calculator out just to run a quick check, but this is where we really find out exactly how much is on. I reckon bang on 27. I hope so. I was using the calculator. So the final weight, 26.6 tonnes, which is not bad. A little bit under 27, but we'll take that. We wanted 26, so we've got a bit more in there than we wanted. That's the main thing. My job's done, yeah. I'm gonna go and put kettle on and get a cup of tea and a biscuit.
At Aalborg Port in Denmark, loading 6 wind turbine sections called transition pieces, or TPs, on board the 1,500-ton freight carrier Svenja is about to get underway. The Svenja must be loaded and ready to depart in 24 hours. Project manager for the lift operation is Frank Escher, who'll supervise from a cherry picker.
Once the lifting tool sits in the position, the chief mate will lock the lifting device.
Good.
Once this one is done and controlled, the chief mate is going down again, and once they are all down, the lift is clear to be lifted.
Svenja's onboard crane takes the strain, with a lift capacity of 2,000 tons. For safety, if there's a power failure, the lifting tool won't lose its grip, as it can be operated manually with hydraulic valves. Dropping 400 tons isn't an option. This is the most critical part of the lift. The crane arm brings the 26-metre TP to within a metre of its boom arm.
You see the moment the transition piece is passing the gallery, the crane is boomed up And then the distance in between the crane jib and the external platform is coming to a minimum.
After seeing it safely over the side and ready to be lowered, Frank heads to the hold, where this €60 million vessel has been specially adapted to take its cargo.
Once the TP is coming down, we have bumpers and we have guides to bring the TP in the exactly right position. Then it will be lowered down until it's resting on the grillage.
The grillage, a specially built steel frame, will secure the TPs on what could be a rough sea voyage.
During the transport, basically there's two motions we have to prevent. One, of course, is that the TP will slide. And then, of course, if you imagine the vessel rolling like this, the TP itself would like to fall, to collapse. And that's why we have to secure it to the grillage to prevent it from falling.
But first, they have to be lowered bang on target.
That's now always tasked to bring the transition piece in the right position.
Bovie Nervaloria is Frank's right-hand man.
It's my turn to bring down the TP here in the position. Now, when you're transporting kind of this cargo, you must always be one step ahead every time you load the cargo.
We have a guide on the other side where the boat landing will rest on to have the right rotation, that all protruding parts will fit in between the grillages. You see this one, for example, and you see that it's really narrow and the transition piece has to be in a very certain position.
After 30 minutes, the TP is finally slotted into place. But the job's not over. Once the TP is down, Bovie keeps 50% of the weight on the crane, so he and the team can go inside to check it's an accurate fit.
So now that I have 200 tons on the hook, on the load hook, we now put in place the shimming.
The shimmings act as a dampener, thin pieces of steel or wood that fill any gaps.
Okay, and watch your hands.
Making the TP fit to the grillage as tightly as possible.
Everything in place.
Hydraulic tensioning tools tighten steel clamps that grip the grillage to the TP's base. 45 tons of tension on each one. Bovie then heads up a 26-metre ladder to the very top. Once installed, it will provide access for maintenance.
Well, we're just disconnecting the TP tool. Okay. Yeah, to loosen, then to bring on the other cargo again. Anyway, it was 26 meters high. Okay. Maybe it's almost on the sky. Stairway to heaven.
Over the next 2 hours, 4 more TPs are loaded.
One more, it's okay. It's enough for today. One more TP, it's enough for today. It's okay. My exercise is pull, pull, pull.
Finally, the full 2,400 tons is on board. And Bovie makes his last climb of the day.
85 steps. 85 steps.
By nightfall, the ship's crew carry out final safety checks and Svenja sets sail, destined for Rotterdam. On the eastern coast of Spain, 3 of the most advanced locomotives in Europe are fresh off the assembly line at Stadler's rail factory in Valencia. It's a cutting-edge design that's revolutionizing rail freight. Head of logistics Mar Rivas from Stadler Trains is understandably proud of them.
It is the most powerful locomotive in Europe, the most flexible, it's environmentally friendly, it's the next step to improve the rail freight transport in Europe.
The first of its kind, it's called a Euro-Dual, a locomotive that can be powered by diesel or electricity.
It's a big locomotive, it's very powerful.
At 140 tons and 23 meters long, it's packed with new technology, such as a computer that instantly processes all vital safety data for the driver, including speed and any malfunctions. The diesel engine creates 3,200 horsepower, and the generator can turn this into almost 4,700 amps of electrical current. The 4 drive motors use this electricity to generate over 64,000 pounds of thrust.
I'm very proud about this locomotive. When the trains go, I will be sad because it's like our baby. But it will have a big future in Germany, transporting long and heavy trains.
From the port of Valencia, they'll be making a 5,000-kilometer journey by ship to Bremen in Germany. On leaving the factory, they're hoisted into specialist cradles or cots for transport.
Atentos por si desplaza un poquito, ¿eh?
Once airborne, the 5.5 million euro locomotive has its steel wheels protected with 10 euro pieces of wood. As loading coordinator Sergio Roman explains.
Una vez tenemos la locomotora en la plataforma de transporte, poder cogerla en el puerto, dejarla en el suelo y volverla a colocar en el buque. Eso es.
Once fitted into the cots, a specialist modular trailer that can be lengthened by adding sections is called in. There are 32 articulated wheels on this 40-meter low loader. Each wheel can be moved in any direction, and the 3 sections that make up the trailer can be hydraulically raised or lowered, which will be useful when navigating the roundabouts and tight corners through Valencia. Each axle can take the strain of 40 tons. Once the platform is in position, it must be aligned centrally down to the millimeter, or risk toppling off during transport.
Estamos ajustando la distancia para que la locomotora esté igual en los dos lados. Vale, sigue subiendo. Stop. Intenta ahora mover. Stop. Yo creo que ya lo tienes. Vale. Perfecto.
Lowered again, the Euro-Dual is now ready for its journey to the port.
Mi trabajo ha terminado, yo ya termino aquí y la empresa de transportes ya se lleva la locomotora a puerto.
For escort driver Adrian Cortez, the next 20 kilometers will be a challenge.
Hay que mirar muy bien porque si no los coches vienen muy rápido y tenemos un peligro que nos den. Métele giro, métele giro. Vale, sigue, lo lleva bien, sigue. Sigue. Vale, ya estás dentro, ya lo tienes tú.
But even on this short journey, everyday obstacles like bridges can present real problems.
Ahora pararemos porque tenemos que poner la máquina en altura porque ser tan grande hay puentes que nos limitan y para que no haya ningún peligro de tocar, rozar, que afecte a la carga, tenemos que dejarlo en nivel, posición y ya marcharemos bien.
To clear the height of the bridge, they will need to lower the platform hydraulically. But it must be adjusted carefully to make sure the transport platform remains perfectly level at all times. Any uneven weight will make the load unstable.
84 justo. Vale.
Back on the road again, they approach the first bridge. Hopefully they'll have made the correct calculations. They successfully pass under with 40 centimeters of clearance.
Esta maniobra es una de las más complicadas que tenemos en el trayecto.
Because the transport vehicle is 30 meters in length, the driver has a very limited turning radius and can easily hit other vehicles and structures.
Vale, no gires tanto aún, no gires tanto aún.
This is where the trailer's specialist wheels, turning as much as 90 degrees, really come into their own.
Vale, sigue tirando, sigue. Vale, sigue, sigue. Vale, empieza a girar ya. Puedes empezar a meterle giro. Pues nada, ya estamos llegando. Ya estamos a punto de llegar al puerto. Ahora falta que nos digan dónde la quieren para desatarla y que la descarguen. Y nosotros ya hemos cumplido con nuestro trabajo.
It's taken Adrian 2 hours to travel the 20 kilometers from the factory to the port of Valencia. Along with the trains already there, all three €5.5 million trains need carefully loading on board the ship that's going to ferry them to Germany. In the North Sea, off the coast of Denmark, the 1,500-ton freight carrier Svenja is 500 kilometers from her final destination, Rotterdam. Loaded with almost 2,500 tons of wind turbine cargo, there's poor visibility at sea, and Captain Bachowski is on the lookout in case it gets worse.
The big difference between heavy lift ships and normal cargo ships is that if you lose a container during heavy weather, of course you lose the container, and might be that some steel is banded on deck. If we lose one of the TPs, with no luck, we will lose the whole ship and the whole crew. So that's why it's pretty sensitive. It's our life right now.
The North Sea shipping lanes are notorious for bad weather, and in particular, fog. It's formed as warmer, moist air moves over the water's cold surface, and it's always far worse near land in coastal regions such as this.
If you really have dense fog where you have a visibility just of a few meters, then we will add additional watchmen on the bridge. We will slow down the speed. And if it's really strong, dense fog, then I just have to watch at the back. If I can't see my second crane or something like this, then it's really bad visibility, yeah.
For now, the ship is steaming ahead, with the crew working around the clock, carrying out general maintenance. The man responsible for feeding the 25 hard-working and hungry men on board is Chef Alvin Agrazamendes.
We have green salad with salmon, smoked salmon. This is for the Filipino crew. Pork chops with honey and garlic. This is for the European crew. This is roasted mushroom and some cherry tomato as well.
Even Alvin's job is affected by bad weather at sea.
You have to be very flexible in times of those kind of weather, because you have to. Sometimes you didn't know that the food will spill off, the oil. You need to be very careful.
But despite the challenges, Alvin's not one to rock the boat.
You have the opportunity to hone your cooking different dishes for other group of people. You have an opportunity to show your best skills as well.
Despite less than ideal sailing conditions, Svenja plows on through the North Sea, reaching Rotterdam within 5 hours. This is the busiest port in Europe, handling over 500 million tons of sea freight every year and over 130,000 vessels. Because of its strategic position, Rotterdam Port stores and distributes wind turbine sections throughout Europe. The TPs on Svenja are just 6 of 30 due in over the next week for Borsel, off the Dutch coast.
We are back in Rotterdam at the SIF terminal. The lifting supervisor will take care that he don't clash on the quayside or on the cargo or something like that. And I'm just keeping an eye, keeping the whole story in my eyes.
The lifting supervisor is Chris Witkowski.
So the lifting tool is already connected to crane number 2. They will lift now and connect to the first teepee. And then when it's connected, we can remove all the clamps and then we are ready to discharge.
On the bridge, Captain Bachowski will transfer seawater between the ballast tanks, controlling the ship's buoyancy as each 26-metre high, 6-metre wide and 400-ton TP is moved skywards.
They pick up now a little load. You can see load will increase here. That's the crane load of the second crane load, main load on the main hook. I just started now the pumps because he moved already with the cargo a little bit to port. So I start to transfer water from port side to starboard side. I'm just transferring water from one side of the ship to the other side of the ship to keep the ship leveled while the crane is moving and swinging.
This is one of the most critical times for a heavy freight ship in port.
Christoph, 250.
Yeah, continue.
Captain Bachowski must now keep his titanic 15,000-ton vessel from listing catastrophically.
Crane 1, stop standby.
"250 kilometres away in the northeast of Scotland, Stuart Duckhart is on his way to the port of Montrose. The 26 tons of waste he's delivering dockside will complete the quota of 3,000 tons due to be shipped to Sweden within the next 24 hours. In total, it will take 115 lorry loads to fill one ship.
I was always into lorry. 2014, I've been doing it from then, and it's the best decision I've ever made. But the places I've been to the Isle of Skye, Stornoway, been right down to Southampton, Andover, all different places. This is my personal one that I've live in when I do stay away. It's got a TV, fridge, microwave, got everything in it for living away.
Today's job is only 80 kilometres from Aberdeen, but it's a big job nonetheless. The 101-metre-long, 4,800-ton cargo ship, Kurtu, has arrived and she's ready for loading. It's down to linesman Darren Cool to get her secured to the harbour wall with spring lines, both bow and stern.
We're always really busy here. We very rarely have a quiet spell. We come in early, come down, tie the vessel up, guide them in. We throw the lines all the time, but they always miss. You're actually lucky today you seen me making it first time. Usually when there's an audience, you miss every time, and when nobody's looking, you do it first time every time.
Kurtu will be transporting RDF, otherwise known as refuse-derived fuel. The bales of waste weighing up to 1.5 tonnes need a 100-ton crane and experienced operator Angus White to get them loaded.
Got an RDF boat to load. This is a Liebherr 110. It's a material handler. It's big enough. It's probably just too big for the job, but better with a bit extra capacity. I've not been doing it that long. I'm just relatively new to the shipping idea. A couple of years I've been here. Driving the machine's easy. It's just getting the experience to load the boat, put stuff in the right place and make it easy for the next step. Bales are relatively easy built, but the thing that keeps you on your toes here is there's not two the same size or density. So when you put them in, it's a bit like a game of Jenga.
Angus relies on 3 forklift drivers to run a constant shuttle service. Bales from trucks on arrival and storage areas on site are piled high next to the ship. As Kurtu can take 500 tons more cargo than most ships on this route, the bales just keep on coming. At the wheel of the forklift is Michael Chatter.
We've got bales that come down from Suez in Aberdeen. It's just a mad rush to get all the bales down.
And just in the nick of time, Stuart Duckhart arrives with the last batch of bales from the Suez recycling plant. They have to be rushed straight out to the jetty the minute they arrive.
Ships tend to never be happy. They want as much as physically possible on, and they get paid per tonne. But we've also make it tidy,
or as tidy as possible. So the ship's just wanting them squeezed in as tight as you can, but make it not impossible for the lad at the other end to take them out, because he takes them out in the same way. This job can be rewarding if you're not in the wind, but this boat now has to be out. It's a bit of a race against the clock when it should have been a bit easier, but well, it's just shipping, as they say, isn't it?
Kurtu has 2 vast holds. Each one is 31 metres long, 13 metres wide and 8.5 metres high, and can hold over 1,500 bales.
They're carting bales out the shed, and obviously they've got a head start. There's maybe 2,000 bales on the quay side, and they've just to know to keep out the right amount out in front of me without burying the crane and without them falling behind. This is not bad. I've got the best job. I've got aircon and heater. It's the forklift drivers who I feel sorry for.
We tend to do it in little piles on the jetty rather than one massive one. It's just so we can get in between them to feed him bales constantly.
After another 2 hours of loading, a total of 3,200 bales are on board. It's taken 5 stevedores, 100 truckloads and 15 hours to load Kurtu. But they've hit their target, and at 10 p.m, she finally sets sail to Sweden, where one man's waste becomes another man's treasure. At Rotterdam Port in the Netherlands, Captain Mark Bichowski and his team are discharging 2,500 tons of wind turbine components.
Christoph, 250.
Yeah, continue.
Dockside is lift supervisor Chris Witkowski.
So now almost in position, moving parallel up. Maintain height. You have to take care and you have your eyes always on the discharging process. Left.
Togger winches attached to the TP and operated by remote control rotate the transition piece so it lands precisely onto 9 solid concrete support blocks.
Small touch, boom down. Stop. Good. Like this. Hook down. Easy, minus 20.
Once the TP makes contact, but before the crane is detached, Chris directs the men where to add the shimmings.
Lucky. This side only. So we now just build up some plywood because maybe the base here is not even. To have the load almost same, we just filled up with plywood plates. Like this looks good.
5-0.
Okay, I will climb up now.
With the load safely shimmied and secured, Chris's climb will be 26 meters to the top of the TP to disconnect the lifting tool.
And crane 1, stop standby.
Which for Captain Bichowski means a delicate balancing act.
The cargo is in position on the quay side now. And if you release the weight just by the crane 2, where the cargo is hanging on, the ship will list to the starboard side because you are releasing the weight. That's why you need to bring some weight to the port side again, that the ship maintain his upright position.
Now Captain is ballasting, bring all the weight on the jetty. If you just drop down the weight, the ship will list to the other side. So the goal is to keep the vessel almost upright.
And here, just down below here, you can see the heeling angle of the ship. More or less 0, or let's say 0.1, 0.2 to port right now. Christoph, Mark. They will climb up now to the TP, then I will stop the pumps and then they release the lifting tool and then, yeah, the first TP today is discharged.
Having released the lifting tool, the whole procedure will start over again.
So far everything well and smooth. We do it until it's done, but if we take around 1 hour per 1 TP. So let's say before or after dinner, we are ready to sail.
5 more TPs are taken off the ship so it can sail again back to Denmark for another pickup.
So the last TP has been discharged now. Then we will secure stabilizer pontoon, secure the cranes, and then we're good to go and heading back to Aalborg. I will do the next voyage with TPs, then I will do another 2 voyages with monopiles for the project. Most probably then I will sign off, and then my reliever will do still another monopile voyage, and there are 4 more TP voyages, and then the project will be completed within the next 6 weeks. Job all done, all discharged, all in order.
Captain Bachowski and his crew are a vital cog in the wheel as more countries start to rely on renewable energy. The 6 TPs delivered for the €3.5 billion Borsell will help power 1 million homes and a further 4 million in the future. Meanwhile, in the port of Sagunto in Valencia, Spain,
Despacio, por favor, despacio.
today 3 of Europe's most advanced freight locomotives will need loading onto a boat before being transported 5,000 kilometers to Germany. And the vessel responsible for getting these €5.5 million trains there in one piece and on time is the general cargo ship Fen Caledonia. As the Fen Caledonia docks, keeping today's lift on track is the port's General Operations Manager, Ignacio Marinetto.
The size of the vessel is enough to load the 3 locos, 2 in aft and 1 of them in forward. Normally this kind of vessel could load 300 or 400 tons of bulks even without any problem.
All 3 trains and cradles will be lifted one by one.
Vamos a posarla despacio para la madera que no sufra, ¿vale?
And will then be placed with precision into the ship's hull.
Okay.
Sagunto's harbour crane is one of the most mobile in the world.
Now the crane is going to move.
And specifically designed for rapid shore-to-ship lifts. But today's load presents a problem.
Only one crane couldn't lift 1 locomotive because the weight of the locomotive is 123 tons and the crane capacity is 104 tons.
However, Ignacio has the matter in hand.
We will lift at the same time with 2 cranes.
Vamos un pelín cortos aún.
With the combination of 2 cranes, we have enough power to lift the train without any problem. They have to move very slow and 2 at the same time.
To get the trains airborne, he'll be using high-tension slings, each capable of holding 80 tons.
Cargado de fábrica.
Attached to the crane above, the 4 lifting points around the locomotive are secured.
All the area of the sling must be inside of the lifting point, and the finger must be outside of the area to avoid any damage to the worker.
These lifting points are designed as part of the train.
This is a piece of metal connected with the chassis of the locomotive and is able to raise the locomotive without any damage to the structure.
Each lifting point is bearing the load of 35 tons. As the cranes take up the slack, it's vital both cranes work in unison.
Mantenemos aquí, aguantamos.
Without equal tension, the 140-ton train could lurch downward and cause damage to its frame and the cranes. With the slings tightened, the train is lifted slowly off the ground. This is a complicated tandem lift, as the cranes also need to rotate each train so it can enter the hull in the right position.
The tandem lift is complicated because we have to raise the locomotive and pass it between the 2 cranes very, very slowly. So we need a lot of precision.
There can be no excessive movement, or the momentum of 120 tons would topple the cranes. The ship only has an 11-metre width and a 60-metre long cargo hull, which doesn't give much spare space to get all 3 23-metre long locomotives in.
In the hull we have a very small gap, very, very tight area.
Each train will act as a ballast or counterweight inside the hull. If positioned wrong, the balance in rough seas would cause the ship to roll and capsize. The first two trains will be loaded side by side.
We need to do it in this time more carefully than in the previous one.
But with space diminishing in the hull, getting the second train into position will be much harder.
The second locomotive will be hardest because the area is very, very tight for the big locomotive.
With two locomotives loaded side by side providing ballast and balance, the third will go in front of the others in the centre of the remaining hold. To maintain the carefully worked out ballast, perfect positioning is vital.
We have more space to load it, but we have to be very careful because we have to keep the stability.
With the third train finally in place, Ignacio can breathe a sigh of relief.
Okay, we have the third on the hole. Very good. The last one has very fast.
Now it's just about securing the trains for their sea voyage. After welding metal blocks to the hull, the locomotives are fixed into position. They can now look forward to a 5,000-kilometre journey via the Atlantic to Bremen, Germany, before taking up their new role pulling passengers and goods across Northern Europe.
Job done, we have loaded the loco. Tonight we'll sail. Has been a good operation.